Yo, what is up guys? Shouts is back here. I hope you guys had a happy new year. It took me a while to make this video because I was on vacation, but you know, we are here and we're going to be reviewing volume 18 of Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba. From where we last left off in volume 17, this was a good volume right here with Zenitsu doing his new move on the upper rank 6 Kaigaku. We got pretty much Shinobu dying, and yo, Shinobu's death is still hitting me, yo. After a month ago when I did this review, I'm still thinking about her death right now, but volume 18. So with this volume right here, it starts off with Tanjiro and Giyu, the water Shear, fighting off against the upper rank 3 demon, Akaza, and Akaza, yo. I'm still a little salty about him from killing my favorite character in Goku a couple of volumes ago, but these three are fighting and they're going in right now. The thing about Akaza is that when he uses his technique development, he gets in that little fighting stance and a compass sort of thing forms under him, and with that compass, it's pretty much detects the fighting spirit of the opponent. So the stronger the fighting spirit that opponent has, the stronger that compass gets at reading attacks. So Akaza is dangerous when it comes to fighting this man. He has some of the most craziest kick attacks that I've seen out of all these volumes. So my man Tanjiro from the last volume, when his dad was showing him how to do this move called the Transparent World, that pretty much makes that compass that Akaza uses useless. Tanjiro's pretty much able to see time like it's going slowly, or maybe his opponents are moving slower. Whatever the case is, this man's able to read all of Akaza's moves, and Tanjiro is coming in clutch. So Tanjiro does his Hinokami Kagura dance, you know, upside down, in the air, just swings his katana, and the man gets a clean hit on Akaza, yo, and a clean neck shot that I mean, so it's just cool seeing Tanjiro come all this way from pretty much being like a helpless person to getting his sword and becoming a demon slayer. And this man's on Hashira level right now. So Tanjiro is doing some great things. Out of Ikaza's hundreds of years of fighting opponents, he's never come across someone like this that can just have no presence of their fighting spirit at all, because the man can even look at a baby and see the fighting spirit in them. So Tanjiro's was completely gone, and the man just didn't know how to pretty much counter that. So Tanjiro does a clean cut on Ikaza's neck. His neck falls off and it starts to disintegrate. So I'm getting happy, you know, his neck's cut off, you know, everything is good, the fight's over, but oh, what the F moment just happened right now. This man, Akaza's still standing, even though his neck falls off and it disintegrates away. So this man's wounds, like the wound on his neck where he got cut, closes up, and this man is still ready to fight. Like, wow. So when I think about demons, I think about Muzan and, you know, how his weakness, he can get his head cut off, but that's not a weakness of his. His only weakness is the sun. So it's interesting because Akaza, he's trying to do something similar, you know. Cutting off his head is not a weakness unlike the other upper rank demons when they went down. So Akaza's pretty unique from the other upper rank ones. I'm wondering if the upper rank 1 and upper rank 2 demon can do this, but if Akaza's the only one that can do something like this besides Muzan, of course, that's badass of him. So Akaza pretty much gets a clean kick off of Tanjiro and knocks him against the wall, and Tanjiro's pretty much reached his limits. You know, the man ends up passing out, and if it wasn't for Giyu, the water Shear, Tanjiro would have been dead right now. So both of these characters were coming in clutch for each other during this fight. So you're telling me Akaza can lose his head and still do moves like this? Like, he was extremely fast and he was regenerating really quick in this fight too, but something interesting happened in this volume that happened in the previous volume also. So when Akaza was fighting, you know, he pretty much flew his hand out in the air like someone was talking to him. He did the same thing during this volume. It pretty much seemed like his arm was getting tugged back, and in his memory, someone was talking to him saying that's enough and calling this man Hakuji. So we figure out that Hakuji is actually his human name from before he became a demon. So we're about to learn about Akaza's past. But this flashback is pretty interesting because, you know, with most other demons, they have these sad backstories, but with Akaza, his hits you just differently. So he grew up in a poor family where he had to live off by pretty much stealing or pickpocketing other people to help support his family. His father was sick, he was dying, so this man was stealing all the time, and no matter what, this man kept stealing no matter what. No matter how many times he got caught, They lashed him about 100 times. They put marks on his arms to symbolize he was a criminal. They even warned him that they'll chop his arm off, but he was like, no matter how many times or whatever you guys do to me, I'm gonna keep stealing this stuff. You know, either he's really crazy or he just loves his family like a lot, which I respect. And with these marks on his arms, it's pretty interesting because when he became a real demon, he got these marks all throughout his body. So that's a pretty cool way of symbolizing, you know, he was labeled a demonic child as a past, and those marks are a cool way to symbolize that. So I guess getting arrested so many times finally got to Akaza's dad's head, because this was pretty much the last straw for him. The man actually ended up hanging himself, you know, after the last time he found out his son Akaza got caught stealing. And when I say Akaza and Hakuji, that's the same person, because Hakuji is his human name. So father ended up hanging himself, and this made Akaza pissed off. You know, he pretty much went into all the guards and killed all of them just with his bare hands. And this pretty much impressed someone that was walking by named Kaizo. And Kaizo caught interest of what Hakuji was doing, because Kaizo runs a dojo, a martial arts dojo called Soryu, where it's pretty much combat where you only use your bare fists. So that's pretty much why he caught a liking to Hakuji. So pretty much Hakuji tried to fight off with Kaizo, and Kaizo just like whooped his like you know what. So that was pretty interesting, but he ended up taking him back to his dojo, where he pretty much trusted Hakuji into watching his sick daughter. Now Hakuji, or Akaza, someone that's labeled a demonic child, that's pretty interesting to choose someone like that to watch over your sick daughter, but hey, do what you do. And with Kaizo's daughter, her name was Koyuki, so interesting name for her. Yo, I'm not gonna lie, with this backstory I was reading, I felt a lot sorrier for Akaza's backstory than from the previous demons that I read. His backstory was just pretty sad. It made me respect him a lot more. So pretty much with him watching over Kaizo's daughter, Koyuki, they pretty much started to develop feelings for each other, and Hakuji even promised that he was going to take her to see fireworks someday. She was I guess she was immobilized, so she couldn't see them currently. So he promised that if we don't see him this year, we're going to see him next year or the year after that. The point is, I'm just going to wait till you're much better. So that was pretty dope, you know. Hakuji, he pretty much, his name means he has to protect something. He learned that from Kaizo. His name means that he lives to protect something. He wasn't able to protect his father, so he failed at that. We learned that his mother also killed herself, so he failed at protecting his mom, his dad. So now he was trying to protect this girl, Koyuki. With the crazy life that Akaza or Hakuji had, it's just nice seeing that there's someone out there in the world that cares for this man, because this is some childhood, I'm not gonna lie. Hakuji pretty much promised Koyuki that he was gonna protect her forever, and they eventually got married, so life is going pretty good for Hakuji right now, but this being Demon Slayer, this isn't gonna last forever. So we pretty much learned that with their dojo, I'm gonna call it the Soryu dojo, because that's the fighting style that they use. They had a neighboring dojo that was kind of their rivals, and they didn't like them because they were inferior to them, and they had a heir to that dojo. And it's pretty interesting because Hakuji was going to be the heir to this dojo that he's in right now, but that other person in the other one, he didn't like that Hakuji had feelings for Koyuki because he had feelings for her also. And it pretty much turns ugly because that neighboring dojo pretty much infiltrates this one and poisons their water well. So it pretty much poisons Koyuki and her dad Kaizo. So these two characters get poisoned. So it's pretty sad because Hakuji was promised to protect these two, and he failed at that also. So the man just failed at everyone he was trying to protect. This made Hakuji so furious that this man went to that neighboring dojo that poisoned his two loved ones, and this man beat about 67 of them to death with his bare hands, with the Soryu martial arts style that he knows how to do. So damn, yo, Hakuji or Akaza is a beast. This man defeated 67 people with his bare hands. And after that, this is where he runs into Muzan, and Muzan gives him some of his blood, and thus Akaza is born, the upper rank 3 demon at the moment. So damn, yo, Akaza, his backstory was crazy. Like, he has one of the backstories that I respect in all these manga volumes. So Akaza turning into a demon by Muzan, you know, he lost all of his memories and pretty much had to find another purpose in his life. And it's interesting because, you know, all the killings that he did, it was all so meaningless to him. Even with Akaza losing his memory, becoming a demon, it's interesting because his attacks still revolve around some of his memories in the past. Some of the flamboyant kicks and punch moves that he can do are from him seeing fireworks from Koyuki, or the pins on Koyuki's hair, or his Soryu martial arts style. So that's pretty interesting about Akaza. Alright, so let me get back to this fight with Akaza, Giyu, and Tanjiro. Akaza has some serious potential for a demon. So like I said, he kicked Tanjiro and Tanjiro was knocked out against the wall because he was past his limits, but luckily Tanjiro woke up just in time because he saved Giyu's life, because Akaza was going to use one of his same moves that he used on Rengoku. So Tanjiro pretty much pushes Giyu out the way, but the interesting thing is, Akaza didn't use this move on them. He actually used this move on himself, and he really messed himself up doing this move. So I'm thinking, what the hell is going on? Like, what's he trying to do? But Akaza, you know, I guess him seeing Tanjiro and how Tanjiro was like made him remember sort of bits and memories from his past, you know. This was pretty dope because him learning from his memories back then kind of reestablished his purpose in life, and he was pretty much, I remember what happened back then. I can live on in peace now. And his body just starts to disintegrate away. So, wow. And Tanjiro can sense interesting traits about demons. He was able to sense Akaza being like grateful before he did this attack on himself. And he was even smiling. So, that's pretty interesting. It was just beautiful seeing Akaza start to get his memories back too. I'm glad he didn't go with Muzan's purpose that he gave him to just getting stronger. I'm glad that he remembered his purpose from the past of protecting his loved ones, because, you know, he failed at protecting his mom, you know, his loved one, and Koyuki. And it's interesting because him even being a demon, this man never killed or ate a woman before. So that's pretty self-discipline for a demon right there. And we see some of his memories again also where he's talking to his mom, and his mom saying, you know, I forgive you for everything you've done, and they start hugging each other, and Akaza pretty much goes back into his human form, Hakuji, in these memories. So it's just such a beautiful ending for Akaza, you know. It was beautiful, you know. The man, when he did this attack on himself, you know, before he started disintegrating, the man was actually regenerating really fast. And his head was also regenerating too. So Akaza got some crazy potential as a demon, but the man found his peace, you know, and he officially disintegrated away. The fight was over, and wow. Yo, this was a great fight right here. And Tanjiro and Giyu are pretty much so exhausted that both of them pretty much pass out now. Tanjiro, it's pretty much, I hope they announce you as a Hashira during the next Demon Slayer meeting or whatever they have next. So after when all this stuff is said and done, because you and Zenitsu also, Zenitsu went in the previous volume 17. You both deserve to become a Hashira because the things that you guys are doing right now is just amazing. And with Akaza dying, the upper rank 1 demon, Kokushibo, and the upper rank 2 demon, Doma, they figure it out. But them being demons, it doesn't really affect them like that. They have no feelings whatsoever. That's why I like the human side better, or the Demon Slayer Corps, because, you know, if someone dies, it just fuels their anger and makes them stronger to get justice. So, Akaza's dead. The other upper ranks don't really care about it. What's going to happen next? So the fight pretty much transitions into where Doma, the upper rank 2 demon, and Kanao, Shinobu's successor, are fighting. And yo, this previous volume, Shinobu's death, still hitting me, you guys. But these two pretty much are fighting right now, and Kanao has some serious potential, yo. She's pretty much adapting to all the moves that Doma's doing, and she's not inhaling any of like the powder freezing moves that Doma can do. When Doma pretty much swings his fan, it can release a powder that scatters with his fans, and if you inhale this thing, that's deadly for your sake. But Kanao is doing good, yo. Even Doma says that you might have more potential than Shinobu has. So this is the first time we're really seeing Kanao fight, and she's doing great. With her flower breathing moves that she does, and also with her eyes, she's able to read movements with her eyes. So that's pretty cool of her. But this man Doma, the upper rank 2 demon, this guy has some moves of himself. with his blood demon art moves, it just makes this man so hard to fight up close range. When it comes to his freezing clouds move, or when he has his vines that can reel you in, man can drop these water icicles at you that are pretty crazy. And what's cool also is that this man can summon these two cold white princesses that can pretty much exhale out air and just freeze his surroundings. So Doma's pretty scary. And when I say his moves are crazy, his movement is also crazy, because this man ends up taking Kanao's sword without her even noticing. So it felt like she seen him warp, but he might just be that fast. And, you know, Doma does this scattering lotus move to Kanao that's almost about to kill her because she's defenseless. She doesn't have her sword. But props to my man Inosuke for coming in sporadically like he always does. The man just comes crashing in through the roof, and he pretty much saves Kanao. And this is interesting, yo, because we got the upper rank 2 demon now against Kanao and Inosuke. And all fights that I've seen Inosuke in, this man goes into. Inosuke is able to find Kanao because in the previous volume, the demon slayers are pretty much using the crows to help navigate them all throughout this infinity castle. So props to these crows that they're using right now. It's coming in clutch. This fight is getting good. Inosuke is so impressive when he fights also because his movement's pretty fast too. He's able to take back Kanao's sword from Doma without Doma not even noticing him. So props to what Inosuke is doing right now. And what's interesting is that this man's body is just different from everyone else's for him being a human. You know, this man can dislocate all his joints and kind of like bend his arm like rubber. I believe he called it beast breathing, ninth fang, extending, bendy slash. So it's pretty cool because it extends the range and changes it up on all of the moves and slashes that he does. He's able to get some cuts on Doma. He cuts his eyes, but he's still new to this move. He was originally aiming for his neck, but he missed and got his eyes. But Inosuke, you're a badass right now. It seems like this fight is turning into a who can do this move without the other one noticing, because Doma pretty much takes off Inosuke's boar mask that he always wears without Inosuke not even noticing it happen. So we're seeing some really fast movement in this fight right here. And it's always interesting seeing Inosuke's real face, because this man, how he acts, he's low-key a pretty boy with all those facial features that he has. But Inosuke does not like people taking off or touching his boar mask, so this makes him furious right now. What's crazy about this encounter with Inosuke and Doma is that Doma actually recognized Inosuke from Inosuke's mom. Talk about a small world that they live in. So Doma pretty much recognized him, and we get a little flashback of Inosuke's past, a short flashback. With Inosuke's mom, she used to get abused a lot back in the day by her husband or Inosuke's dad, to the point where she ran away with Inosuke, and Inosuke was just a baby at the time. She ran away and she pretty much ran into Doma and thought, you know, he was gonna save her, but little did she know Doma's crazy in himself, because Doma has this crazy religious belief called eternal paradise faith, where this man pretty much eats people, and he's a demon at the time. This man is eating people and he thinks he's relieving them of their pain. So Doma's crazy, and Inosuke's mom realizes this, so she runs away from Doma, but she gets cornered into like a cliff where she has nowhere to go, and Doma's pretty much chasing her down. So the only option was to throw a baby Inosuke over the cliff. Talk about crazy, yo. Throwing your child over a cliff for them to survive. Man. Pretty much, Inosuke, he survives that cliff fall, by the way, because, you know, we see him alive right now. And he was pretty much raised by boar, so that's why he wears a boar mask. But at that time, Doma pretty much kills Inosuke's mom, so that was the end for her. Wow. That must be a really interesting lifestyle to be raised by boars. So Inosuke's pretty interesting. I'm wondering how this man learned English, really, if he was raised by boars. You know, you ever think about that when it comes to reading these sort of animes and mangas? But anyways, pretty much Doma kills Inosuke's mom, and what's worse is that this man's rubbing it in Inosuke right now, where they are right now. This man pretty much said, you know, she was a meaningless person, her life was meaningless, and this makes Inosuke pissed, yo. So my man Inosuke is about to fight, and this is where the volume ends. So I'm gonna have to wait till I read volume 19, and yo, this was a good volume right here, yo. Akaza's backstory was beautiful. That's my takeaway out of this whole volume. Kanao and Inosuke, I know they're about to go in on this upper rank 2 demon. Doma is a problem, yo. Beautiful, beautiful volume. So, Akaza, you earned my respect a little bit more in this volume right here, but I still gotta think about you a little bit because you killed my favorite character in Goku. I don't know if I should give you respect or should I still hate on you because you had a different, like a more sad backstory than from the other demons that I read, but you killed Rengoku. I'm about to see the Demon Slayer movie Infinity Train soon. I'm gonna be reminded of that moment when you killed Rengoku, so I don't know what to think about you right now. I respect your past and your backstory though. Man, I can't wait to see what happens next, guys. That was my volume review of volume 18 of Demon Slayer, and these things just keep getting better and better, yo. I can't wait to see how this all ends, and that was my volume review. Peace.